How could it have possibly ended up like this? Even as you're watching this film, I'm probably still sitting here, hiding away in a country in Eastern Europe. I've been hounded out of my home country, my dreams left in shatters. Every single social media platform has banned the content I've been trying to reach people with. Or at least I wish they had, because that would be good for my ethos. But like all bad things, my story started on YouTube Shorts. My name is Elijah. I'm 23 years old, and for years, I was an internet user just like everyone else. It was a time in my life when I truly thought I was happy. I truly believed in the internet, but I gradually started to realize things. For instance, I had all these supposed friends on social media, but no one was asking me to hang out. I wasn't getting invited to any parties. Were they really my friends? Of course, this was an issue of not realizing that I was on Instagram. On Instagram, you have followers, not friends. So instead, I tried to organize them into a coup attempt for the throne. But that didn't work out either. They weren't my real followers. That's when it clicked. The internet is completely fake. So I started to assemble a team.
In the camera?
Yeah.
Directly? No. My name is Dr. Jankowski. I was just glad that somebody else shared my fears. I mean, let's just think about this objectively. Like, let's look at the linguistics, okay? Like, some of these terms that they're throwing out here. I mean, World Wide Web. Look around you. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Scrolling? When was the last time you were in Torah class? I mean, come on.
Hello, I am Dr. Erasmus Vanavar. I was already having my doubts about the internet when Elijah approached me. I'd asked Siri, "Why am I unhappy?" And she responded, "Sorry, I didn't quite understand that. Here's what I found on the internet." Not long after, I performed an experimental modal analysis, and all the natural Let's go again.
Yeah.
Not long after, I performed an experimental modal analysis, and all of the natural frequencies came back unnatural.
What's another one they use? Storing things in the clouds? That's water vapor. It would fall. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it really speaks to the feminization of men today that they would be using these childish words instead of masculine vocabulary like meat or brick.
But you need more than a couple of personal stories. You need Rungakutta, Texas Instruments, really low alpha values. That's the scientific way of doing things.
So now that I had a team, we went to work. It just so happened that we all lived in Louisville, Kentucky, the center of all internet operations.
Let's think about this, okay? I mean, if I'm right, if we're right, and I think we are, then the internet's fake. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money off of an illusion.
So what we had to do was a covert operation. How do you feel about this operation?
I think we planned it out well. We did the calculations, we found the limits, everything's going according to plan. There's a slight amount of potential entropy.
Our worst fears were realized, and then some.
What we found was deeply disturbing. The crushed depth of the USS Thresher, deep. What we recovered were documents that explained how the whole process works.
Symbols, patterns, strange esoteric diagrams.
I mean, you could really describe it as a sort of hypnosis. I mean, think about it this way. It induces in the individual a sort of compulsive behavior that normally they would never even think about doing. I mean, it makes them susceptible to the influences of others, these elitists who want to control them, maybe? You decide.
So we had the proof. We were ready to get it out to the world. We, of course, immediately started producing this documentary, but getting this sort of thing together takes time. And in the meantime, I wanted to get the message out on social media. And that's really when my life turned upside down. The internet is clearly fake. Internet users speak of having traveled to different sites. Yet, in reality, they have remained firmly seated on the toilet for well over an hour. And it really took off. We were getting thousands of views. The sort of thing an out-of-touch local news station would call a viral sensation. The internet is clearly fake. You speak of Instagram. The only thing instant is the fires of hell an internet user feels after they die. The internet is clearly fake. They call it your social media feed because you're a sheep. An organization called POS staged a hit on my apartment and tried to take me in. I barely escaped and fled here. POS is an organization you may not have heard of before, and what it stands for is piece of shit, because I hate them. I don't actually know who it was. It was probably just like federal agents or something, but it just shows how much they want to suppress the information that I have. I lost everything. All my belongings, my family, the friends that I did have them. And, I had dreams I wanted to achieve. I wanted to start a meme movement. And now I'm stuck here, holed up in Eastern Europe, where no one's dreams come true. So I've sacrificed a lot, and it's really important to me that this message gets out there.
Now, If y'all remember, back in the 90s when this whole internet thing got started, it wasn't called the internet, it was called the World Wide Web. Do you remember that? Now, what you'll see is that this whole internet phenomenon was started by these top-level Satanists in our government to essentially deliver spiders to the homes of God-fearing Americans all over the world. And that's why they called it the World Wide Web. Now, if you crack open your computer, you probably won't find a spider in there. The plan backfired and it failed. That's why we don't call it the World Wide Web anymore. We call it the internet. Well, look around. There's no nets anywhere, okay?
So what does the internet actually do? Well, let's look at the word, internet. Inter, like interment, which is burying a corpse. There's this idea that it's a life-ending activity. In the early days, internet activities were actually referred to as time sharing. So there's this idea that you have your time and it's being taken away by someone else. This is what led us to our ultimate conclusion.
The users, it's not good for them. The internet will suck out the human soul bit by bit, okay? Every time it gets used, it takes a little bit of your soul. I mean, think about it. When you open up that computer system and you take a look at these microchips, these patterns on the microchips are very similar to the ones used to trap demons and ghosts. Now, they're only a little bit different. Why? Because these ones are for trapping human souls.
This is why you'll notice the more time a user spends on the internet, the bigger of a quantitative loser they become. Not long after, we met with the Organization of Factual Science, and we performed a study using synthetic neural networks, finite element analysis, and we were able to generate a conceivable non-internet user.
We also did a series of street interviews to ask people if they actually believed that the internet phenomenon is real. Unfortunately, none of the people actually signed the release to be included in the documentary, is what I'm told. So I think we'll just be reading them off.
Yeah, that's right. Here.
Just right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we do have a transcript of some of the responses. What does that even mean?
Are you some kind of conspiracy terrorist? Please step away from me.
Cool prank, dude.
Of course the internet is real. Most of our societal infrastructure nowadays uses the internet to function. Objectively speaking...
Wait, don't read that one. That's good.
Okay.
That is such a dumb question, you ignoramus.
Hey, what are you doing to my dog? Stop kicking him.
I think essentially what our street interviews show is that people are in denial about this. I mean, people spend hours upon hours of their day on this internet phenomenon, and they don't want to admit to themselves that they're spending 50-60% of their day in an illusion. They don't want to admit that they're just wasting their lives away. It's a form of cognitive dissonance, really.
They're addicted. Almost every facet of the internet is fueled by dopamine-motivated behaviors. It's sensual, it's convenient, it's statistically significant, and no one wants to admit that they're addicted.
Ultimately, I don't see what kind of motivation people have to stay on the internet. They're not getting paid to. We've looked into that. They're not getting food or any kind of other reward. So, I mean, honestly, my guess, they want to have their spirit taken away. They're afraid of trying to ask themselves the real questions. They're afraid to face the depths of their own soul.